Hey boys and girls, I'm going to read you a book called The Scraps Book. It's by Lois Ehlert. And then right here subtitled, Notes from a Colorful Life. What is it like to be an artist? Where does inspiration come from? And where do you look for your art supplies? So we're going to be talking about this artist and her process for choosing the supplies that she uses in her art and a little bit about what her life has been like as an artist. Don't read this book unless you love books and art. When I was little, I read all the books on the library shelf, and I thought maybe someday I could make a book. This is me in my grandmother's garden. My mom and dad returning home after hunting for wild asparagus. I was lucky. I grew up with parents who made things with their hands. That's her home. Mom loved to sew. She had colorful fabric scraps, buttons, lace, ribbons, many scissors that she shared with me. Dad had a basement workshop. He gave me wood scraps and taught me how to paint, saw, and pound nails. So I had wonderful art supplies and tools close at hand. In a small corner of our house, Dad set up a folding table for me. It was my spot, a place to work and dream. When I grew up and left home for art school, my table went with me. She had quite the space with a lot of materials there. After art school, I worked in an art studio by day and worked on book ideas at night. I created lots of art, though not for books right away, but I didn't worry. Everyone needs time to develop their dreams. An egg in the nest doesn't become a bird overnight. Where do book ideas come from anyway? I know I find ideas in the world all around me. I've even found them in my garden or while shopping at the fruit and vegetable store. Here's an example of a book that she was working on. When a squirrel slipped into my house, a book idea walked right up to me. There he goes, up the bricks, on his claws. He steals seeds and eats with his paws. Here's some watercolor washes that she used and then put them into a story. On a trip to the aquarium, while I watched colorful fish swim by, a book idea swam into my brain. I sketched and made notes before it floated away. That's why it's always helpful to have a little sketchbook with you or something that you can write on. I keep my eyes open. An idea may be close by. Once when I visited my sister, her cat brushed my ankles as he escaped out the door. Another idea. First, I wrote the story from the cat's viewpoint. It went something like this. Doors left open, just a crack. Going out, might not be back. Food in a can is not too exciting. When there are things I'd rather be biting. Then I wrote the story from the cat owner's viewpoint. Here's how it changed. Uh-oh. Doors left open, just a crack. My cat is out, and he won't come back. His food in a can is tame and mild, so he's gone out for something wild. After writing a story, I sketched the whole book, figuring out what to illustrate on each page. So here we can see she drew her sketch of the bird, she labeled the colors and what everything was, and then she did all her page layouts so you could see all the illustrations and some of the text that she wanted to use. It's always good to have a well thought out plan so you know where you're going. Back and forth, I work on the pictures and words until together they tell a story. My art technique is called collage. I cut out scraps like pieces of a puzzle that I assemble and glue in place. This looks like Chicka Chicka Boom Boom here. I'm messy when I work. I think that happens to a lot of us when we're making art. It can get pretty messy. My wastebaskets overflow. Here you can tell that she's using a lot of shape in her design. And then it turns into this. Scraps lie strewn all over the studio, and more scraps stick to the bottoms of my shoes. But when ideas are flowing, I keep working. I often combine real objects with painted ones. I use odd tools to create texture. I splatter paint with a toothbrush or rub a crayon over my grater. Sometimes I photograph folk art from my collection to illustrate a story. I use what's close at hand, just as I did when I was growing up. Sometimes I go for a walk looking for good stuff. Mother Nature gives me free art supplies. It's always good to look around your yard, see if there's anything you could use as a paintbrush or in a collage. Day after day, I work until the art looks just right to me. You might ask, why did I choose to be an artist? I think maybe it's the other way around. Art chose me. If you feel that way too, I hope you'll find a spot to work and begin. I wish you a colorful life. The end. Here we can see a lot of the books that she's written. Many of you have read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. Top Cat we have in the art room. Has a lot of nice collage examples. She has a lot of really cool books. Here's some of her other work.